The Texas Federal Blue Seed PAC is a federal multi-candidate PAC formed in 2015 under the rules of the Federal Election Commission. A political action committee is two or more people coming together to raise money and to give money to a political candidate or for a political cause. I am Faith Chatham, and I formed the Texas Federal Blue Seed PAC in 2015 when I realized how hard it is for good progressive candidates running for federal office in Texas to get funded. I used to think that when I gave money to the DSC or the DCCC, that would help Democratic challengers in Texas in their races against Republican incumbents, but I was wrong. This is how it works. Rarely do Texas challengers, even our Democratic nominees, get funding from the DCCC. And that's because the first thing they do is they go in and they try to protect the seats that they already have. Because the opposition has very deep pockets, they have to be very strategic in how they spend their money. And so they will look at, when they go to challengers, they will look at the United States as a whole, and they will decide which districts are demographically blue. Where are there more Democrats, other Democrats in office? And they'll decide which will be the easiest districts for them to win. And they'll go in and they'll spend as much money as they can in those areas to win those easier seats. Unfortunately, we don't have very many easy seats in Texas, and we don't have many traditionally blue districts. So our challengers rarely ever get support from the DCCC or the DSC unless they're an incumbent. In 2014, the DCCC came in and spent a lot of money, as did the House Majority PAC in U.S. House 23, to try to protect that incumbent. But even if they had been successful, it wouldn't have been good enough because it wouldn't have changed the math that much. Texas has 36 U.S. congressional people. Right now, there's 9 Democratic men and 2 Democratic women in a House, and the GOP has 25, 24 of which happen to be men, as well as 2 U.S. senators. So if we had been successful in keeping the district that the DCCC put all their money in, we still would not have changed the math that much. And that's a problem we have, and that's where we come in, because we need to do more. We, and by we, I mean those of us here in Texas, we need to do more ourselves. And so that's why we have formed the Texas Federal Blue Seed PAC. We are Texans looking at Texas, and we're raising money and giving it early to help candidates raise other money. Because until people see that a candidate's getting money, they don't want to give money. There's been an attitude in Texas for much too long that it's not even worth trying, that it's a waste of time. Don't give your money, don't go and volunteer, don't do anything to help, because they're Republicans, they're going to win. And that attitude has been what has defeated us over and over again. So the sad part is that we have done this year after year after year, and we have given the Republicans more and more and more seats because we're not really putting up as good a fight. We're not enabling our candidates to have as good an organization as we're able to enable them to. So this is where the Texas Federal Blue Seed PAC comes in. We're Texans looking at Texas only. When any money that you give to the Texas Federal Blue Seed PAC will stay in Texas to go to challengers to help us reclaim the seats that are occupied by the Republicans. In 2016, we expect to be targeting 9 seats, but honestly, if the Republicans lose 8, that will give us a Democratic majority in the U.S. House of Representatives. Because 9 Democratic men and 2 Democratic women in the U.S. House can't do that much against 24 Republican men and 1 Republican woman and 2 Republican senators. Our mission in 2016 is to keep the White House blue and to elect a Democratic majority to the U.S. House. And honestly, we are working at building an infrastructure because in 2018, we need to add more seats and to replace Ted Cruz in the U.S. House, in the U.S. Senate. One of the problems that we have here in Texas is that we're working in a vacuum. There are 20 different media markets in Texas, so it's very rare for Texans to hear about the candidates that are running in the 35, 36 districts that we have. But to protect my own self-interest, I need to know about these candidates because every member of the U.S. House votes, and their vote impacts me, even if I don't live in their district. So if there's a good candidate that lives out in El Paso, I need to know about it. If there's one that lives down in Beaumont, I need to know about it. If there's one down in East Texas, I need to know about it, because how can I protect my own self-interest if I don't know who needs help? I can't vote in another district, but I can volunteer in another district. I can work, I can publicize, I can donate, I can phone bank, I can help on social media, I can recruit other volunteers. It's about Texans standing tall, pulling our resources together, and helping ourselves to help people in other districts elect good Democrats to Congress. We need to give to these candidates early so that it encourages others to give, so that they are equipped to pay for the pollsters, for the phone banks, for the advertising, for the staff. We need to be able to build that political infrastructure that can span beyond one campaign cycle to provide some foundations for campaigns in subsequent years. And that's one thing we can do. When an incumbent wins, they have a winning organization, and they can go back when it's 2 years later and say what worked and what didn't, get rid of what didn't work and improve it. When they're facing a challenger, the challenger is usually inexperienced. The challenger is having to create their organization during that campaign cycle. Usually they're also having to go out and do the research to find out what's going on, the demographics. There's not anyone really helping them unless they have a big bank account, and very few of them do. There are things that we can do to help them with continuity. Our PAC members pay $25 in annual dues, and we ask them to give a little bit, say between $500 and $200 a month, so that we have money to be able to help our candidates early. We'll also have a few fundraisers. But until a candidate has money, few people will give money. So when our giving money early, this enables the candidates to have some money to raise other money with. A federal, non-connected, multi-candidate PAC can give money directly to the campaign of federal candidates up to the federal limit, and it is $5,000 per candidate per primary and $5,000 in the general election. But in addition to that, we are allowed to raise money and spend money independent of the candidates' campaigns on advertising or messages in support or opposition to a candidate. So there's really a lot of ways that we can help make a difference here in Texas. Our goal in 2016 is to have a Democratic majority in Texas's federal delegation by holding the GOP to electing no more than 17 people to the U.S. House of Representatives, and by electing 8 or 9 more Texans that are Democrats. We want to work together to elect that Democratic majority from Texas to Congress and to keep the White House blue. Please go to our webpage and join. It's www.texasfederalblueseed.com. If it costs $25, we ask that you be a United States citizen, registered to vote, at least 18 years of age, and giving of your own money. Let's stand up, let's stand tall, and let's send more progressives to Washington. Thank you.